So without further delay, let's honor and give a warm TKA welcome to the morning host of the Wally Show, Professor Gary Wally Wallace.
Wow, almost sounds like I know what I'm doing. So, good evening, faculty, staff, parents, family, and most importantly, graduates. 2014, you guys did it. Give yourself a hand. That's a lot of it. So, I'm not sure if you understand what an honor it is for me to be here with you tonight. See, I started at TKA at the Cherry Road campus, and we had a pond, no gym, then we filled in the pond for some reason, and you know, we had shirts with red collars on them back there, and Mr. Loveland was a student. But we'll get to him in a minute. Don't worry, it's not a roast, my man. So, you know, you may not know this, but I sat where you're sitting 28 years ago, about ready to graduate from the King's Academy, and believe it or not, I was not always as cool as I am now. There's photographic evidence. Yeah, look at that kid, full of feathered hair, promise, potential, and a giant pimple. I wish we had Photoshop back in the day. But, you know what, it's a big deal for me to be here, you know, and it's a big deal for me to stand here with you tonight. So why is it an honor for me to speak to you? Well, one of the girls who works with me on the show wondered aloud one day. She said, well, why'd they ask you? Was the guy who became a doctor in your class busy? Yes, that is true. Dr. Craig Martin, my nemesis, apparently was busy. But maybe he has his own success. And maybe I'm here tonight because I'm a different kind of success story. An unlikely success story. The honest truth is, I just barely graduated. I'm talking the kind of just barely graduated where you're waiting on the results of one last test to determine whether or not you get to wear that really cool robe and hat. Yeah, no, don't applaud that. That's horrible. That's bad. The one girl's like, yes! So, the thing about that is, though, it's like, it was a scary time. I didn't know. And perhaps maybe I'm here because there are a bunch of kids sitting here right now, like I was, who, you know, pretend to have it all together, but the truth is you're a little freaked out about what the future's going to look like. That was me. I was so scared of the future that I let it delay me. You know, I so badly didn't want to fail that I didn't try. And I've come to learn something since those days, that not trying is far worse than not succeeding. You know, you gotta try. You gotta do things. Yeah, I don't get mad at people on my show when they try and fail. I get mad when they don't try, you know? So there are moments like this that seem built for that you can be anything you want to be, or you can do anything you put your mind to speech. But is it true? I got the chance to go to Italy recently, and I saw some of the greatest artistic masterpieces of all time. I mean, it's impossible to stand there in the Sistine Chapel and not be inspired. So when I returned home, I remembered what I'd always been told as a kid. You can be anything you want to be. You can do anything you put your mind to. That was it. That was all I needed to set my life on a different course. A course of redirection, self-discovery, that would forever change my life. I determined then and there that I was going to be living proof that you can be anything you want to be. So I did something I'd never done before. I bought a canvas and some paint. And that was it. That was what started my journey of discovery.
Street lights that guide you home. I'll be the GPS
Discovery, my self-discovery, the thing I discovered was, I can't paint. I thought I could be what I wanted to be, but I just couldn't. I couldn't do anything I set my mind to. I probably should have figured that out in junior high when I was, all 4'11" of me tried out for the basketball team, and on the final day of tryouts, the then Coach Loveland said, anyone that can make a left-handed layup like Wallace deserves to make the team. So I go running in the locker room afterwards, like, look at that list, come on, it's at the end, the W's will be down there. My name was missing. Yeah, still hurts. Still hurts, man. Just so you know. So writing it out now, you're probably thinking, wow, this is the worst commencement speech ever. You just sat here and told me I can't do everything I want to do. You really should not quit your radio job. You're a horrible motivational speaker. But hear me out. Just because you don't end up as Michelangelo doesn't mean you failed. Remember, not trying is far worse than not succeeding. Let's look at our example. Obviously, I'm never going to be a painter, okay? But there's so many other ways for me to do what I love. I can become knowledgeable about art. I can live in amazing cities. I can travel the world writing about it. I can share my passion for it with other students and inspire them to greatness. What up, Mr. Kamezi? And, or, you know what? I could even, as crazy as it sounds, sell it. You don't have to be the Michelangelo to actually work in the industry that you love. So, like, here you go. Here, why don't you take that? That's only $1,000. That's a good deal for you, my man. And, we'll take it out of your check. So here's the thing, man. In my life personally, I wanted to be a rock star more than anything, man. That was my driving force. And, yeah, the chick in the middle is me. That is some 80s hairband. Ask your parents about that. But that is 80s hairband. Sadly, that was the 90s. So, I was a smidge late. And I'll tell you that is what happens of 12 years of over the ears, out of the eyes, and off the collar haircuts. You end up like that eventually. You know what? I just simply didn't have the skills that it took to be this great musician. However, I still get to work in music. I've gotten the chance to become friends with all the artists that I play on the radio, and I'm truly doing what God created me to do, and that's make people laugh. I never in a million years thought that God would use me in any capacity, much less on a daily basis to help people get through some messy moments in their life with a little bit of laughter. And I love what I do, and I consider it a privilege to get to do it every day. So, when we're told we can be anything, we want to do that, and we envision the things that we do in a certain way, but when they don't live up to that way, sometimes we think that we failed. And you don't fail, though, when you pursue your dreams. So chase them with passion, but be open to where God wants to take you. Remember that you were made for a purpose. You have value, despite what the famous YouTube commencement speech from a couple years ago said.
You're not special. You're not exceptional. Contrary to what your U9 soccer trophy suggests, your glowing 7th grade report card, despite every assurance of a certain corpulent purple dinosaur, that nice Mr. Rogers, and your batty Aunt Sylvia, no matter how often your paternal caped crusader has swooped in to save you, you are nothing special.
Well, it is true that we might not be one in a million. We are actually one of millions in this world. It's easy to get depressed thinking of ourselves as just a number in a sea of sameness. But there is a way that you can be a number that matters. You know, did you know that the Bible, says, Jesus says you are a number, but his perspective is what makes that differently. It's completely different to him, because if you are the one lost sheep, he leaves the 99 to go find you. If you are the one person that needed salvation, Jesus would have died for you. So despite what the world tells you, to God, no matter where you finished in the class tonight, no matter how many times you finished 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 10th, it doesn't matter, because in God's eyes, you still are number one. So for the last 4 years, you've been evaluated, you've been ranked, you've been categorized, and I wish I could say that it's not going to continue, but the fact of the matter is, it probably will get even worse. But in all this competition, it's so easy to get caught up in where we're going. But what God is concerned about is who we're becoming in these moments. Through the adversities in life, through the times we feel like we're standing still and we just so badly want him to use us. That's where he is making us. So maybe as parents, we need to modify our advice to our kids and tell them, you can be anything. You can do anything God has for you. Because his plan for you is perfect. And he will never ask you to do anything that he hasn't prepared you for or equipped you to do. So as you venture out into the world, I'm going to close, and I do mean that. Don't you hate when people say I'm going to close and then they go on for 10 more minutes? I'm going to close by giving you some advice that I give my own daughter. Do what you love, and the money will follow. And if it doesn't matter, because you are going to be happy doing what you love every day. So thank you, and God bless you as you start this next amazing chapter in your life.